Then take a look at this. Hey. Hey. Look at this prop. Look at it. Final confrontation former. Whatever that means. I'm good, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. Cannot complain. Where's the costume, Detective Gumshoe? Just on the other side of the fountain, sir. There's another pendant. Was it out here in the open all along? No, it was discovered in the tall grass back there. We moved out here in order to examine it more thoroughly. Now let's get down to it. Another pendant. What do we have here? Oh, it's another pendant. That's 2 treasures in one day. How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver too. Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon? Is it possible that these two... Hold it right there. Ah, here we go, bruh. Hands off, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross the line, don't you? A pendant, huh? It's a very decisive piece of evidence. How can you tell? Look here and read off what you see. Lauren D. Hey, it's a name. It's engraved on this. Miss Pop's pendant. But... Aha! We have you now, Miss Kidnapper. No, you don't understand. Lolly, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers. Lance. You're kidding. Miss Potts was one of the kidnappers? Yes. No. It was me. I held Lance hostage. So Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers? But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved or over. Hey guys, case closed. Get the car ready, I mean the special one for this young lady.
Hold it!
There we go. Again, Mr. Prosecutor, what is it this time? Are you proposing that Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect. We found it. Found what? That officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of a thick patch of grass. Your country's police are a sham. Just look at how careless they are. Who you calling a sham? The officer's gun didn't show signs of having been fired, so it can't be the murder weapon. So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges, I see. And that's when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor? Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. Can't believe it. Lies. Thanks for the confession.
Objection!
Agent Lang, it's much too early to declare this case closed. Look at you, so sure of yourself. You've got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for? Miss Lauren Pops. Oh shit, here we go. Yes? I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder. But why? I'm a kidnapper and the killer. Isn't that enough? Oh my god. She done cut off her hair? It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that is the truth. Bam, 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 bam. Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason why you can't? I've had a change of heart. I think I'd enjoy seeing you sulk away as the losing mutt. Alright, you heard me. Let's hear about all the evil deeds you committed today. Miss Pop's confession. The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that he would get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Romano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me. Alright. There, are you satisfied? She's a confessor to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. Can I at least respect that much? Miss Pops, is that what is what you said really the truth? Yes, that is. If that is the truth, it certainly isn't the whole truth. Because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. Time to press.
Hold it!
Hold it! How well did you know the victim? I've spoken with them only a few times at Lance's house. A few times. That's it? Yes. They only met a few times. I don't see how they could have trusted each other. But if you hardly ever talked, then how could he trust you not to steal his plan?
Not so fast!
That's completely irrelevant here. He was planning to betray her from the very beginning. Which is why he chose someone he wasn't especially close to. Isn't that right, Sheena? Yes. However, Mr. Deacon made a very poor choice. In the end, he was killed by the one he intended to betray himself. Huh. I bet he didn't see that one coming.
Hold it!
You knew? How'd you know something like that? Aha! Oh no! What should I do? Okay, what's wrong with her now? Come on, isn't it obvious? You're making your scary face again, that's why. Why don't you try asking her in a nicer, more gentle way? No, stop it, Lauren. You're always like this. You always fall for the stern-looking one. That's why you always be unhappy. Or maybe that's it. She's bewitched by your icy glare. Mind your own business, Kay. Now then, Miss Pops, let's continue with your testimony. Oh, yes, of course.
Hold it!
Why did you believe that? Excuse me. Anyone who knows Mr. Amato would think the same. Bet Lance is that old man's greatest treasure. I suppose he would be to a doting father like Amato. I always figured that it was too. I always was envious of Lance for it. Oh, because your dad's... I got this pendant from my father. I believe that as long as I have this, I'll find my father again someday. He'll welcome me into his arms, riding on the back of Pegasus. That pendant. She must truly believe it to be the wings of Pegasus.
Hold it!
Would you mind telling us a little bit about the plan itself? Well, first we captured Lance. Oh, how'd you do that? Well, Mr. Deacon did that on his own, so I don't quite know. Bah, and here I thought you knew how to steal people away. I should think what she would do with such knowledge. I shudder to think what she would do with such knowledge. Sorry, I really don't know, but somehow Mr. Deacon was able to contain him. All we had to do after that was wait for the ransom to be paid, but...
Hold it!
Why do you think he did? I have no idea, but maybe he had planned on doing so from the very beginning. Miss Pops. Wait, Mr. Deacon planned to kill Miss Pops from the very beginning? Was that ever really likely to happen? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? I'm sorry, but I don't think what you just claimed is all that likely. Huh? I don't think Mr. Deacon would have ever been capable of killing you. But why? We were total strangers. It's not uncommon for people to kill each other over money. Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you? Damn. Well, what do you mean? You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do. I can show you with this piece of evidence. This proves that Mr. Deacon wouldn't have been able to bring himself to kill Miss Pops. Pops?
Take that!
Why are you showing this to me? Why are you showing this to me? So what about the pendant? What about the pendant? This horse pendant along with this piece of evidence shows who you really are.
Take that!
These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree? Hey, you're right. They're the same color and they're even made of the same material. I believe that these two pendants are actually one. Eh? Shall we give it a try? Wow, it's totally Pegasus. But why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's? You're a smart lady. I'm sure you're gonna imagine what that might be. What? No, that can't be. Still, the two make a set. It's just another trinket. It's not as though it just changes anything. You lack imagination, Agent Lang. Very well, I'll show you with this evidence. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. Because Magic's taking a sweet time. Gotta jorkin the time away.
Take that!
Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Devore, the name that is etched on the horse pendant. What? An alias? I suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense given what is written in Mr. Devore's dossier. But what I really wanted to point out was this. This specific section is what reveals the true meaning.
Take that!
Mr. Devore had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Pops. That's a lie. That person was not my father. He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Aww. Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that even such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot?
Not so fast!
Not so fast! And what is so funny, Agent Lang? You're good at making things up in your head, deciding it's the truth, aren't you? What are you trying to say? Your thinking is much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility. Is that so? Well, let's hear it. I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew that fact? It was no choice that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano. And the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. You're pretty much a prosecutor solving cases. Don't listen to Gorilla. He's an idiot. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well? So this is his version of how things might have been. You don't have any proof that either one didn't know of their true relationship, right? You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter? That's right. As one really rotten family. Is that really what happened? I better take a long, hard look at the evidence.
Hold it!
Precisely. What father would ever willingly kill his own daughter?
Not so fast!
Shut up, Gorilla. I've seen a lot of things in my travels. I can tell you that being related by blood is sometimes proof of nothing.
Hold it!
You think they knew? Yeah, I don't think only the victim knew. I think the girl realized it as well. They both knew who the other person was, but they had to pretend they didn't. Because he was on the lam? You got it. The victim couldn't exactly go around flaunting who he was. Furthermore,
Hold it!
one as a butler and one as the friend of the son, you mean? They probably thought that this was their best shot. Is that what you honestly believe? Of course.
Hold it!
You how they plotted to commit this crime as a blood relatives? Can you think of any better partner? They're certainly a clever pair. The butler and the girlfriend. No one would ever suspect that they were in fact family. Yes, from the very beginning, they painstakingly practiced those roles well.
Hold it!
I believe you're being a bit too overconfident for someone with no evidence. Am I? Because I don't see you presenting any evidence to the contrary. Without evidence, we're stuck in a stalemate. Agent Lang isn't wrong. His scenario is certainly a probable one. You better hurry and do something or Lauren's gonna wind up looking really bad. I know, but first things first. Is Agent Lang's line of logic factually correct? Did the two of them really knowingly commit the crime as father and daughter? Lauren D is engraved into this pendant. I see that they wrote out their first name, but why just a D? Maybe it's the result of poor planning? I guess. Well, at least if I had to shorten my name, I could make it K Faraday. That way, even if you just sounded it out, it'd still say my name K Faraday. I suppose if I had to do the same, I would also abbreviate it as M Edgeworth. Hold on. I think you should abbreviate as M.E. Get it? Who would have thought that this little pendant could stir up such a strange conversation?
Objection!
Oh, God. Blech. This kidnapping wasn't planned by just 2 people alone. What kind of proof do you have of that? Quite simply, there was 3 kidnappers. 3? Hiya! 4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area's back room. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout. But as for the other 3, we could assume they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group. And I believe that this 3rd person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping. Who is this mastermind? Present you the brains behind the kidnapping. Oh boy.
Take that!
Oh my God. Lance Amano? Trying to get his dad's money? Yes, this abduction was in fact schemed up by Lance himself. Recall what he said when he appeared before us? I had no clue. Did you see the faces of your kidnappers? No, I didn't see their faces, but 2. One was a woman. However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said. But I know I only saw 2 people. This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them. Ah, yes. About when you were being held. I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? I really don't remember much anymore, honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you? Nope. I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could. The underground passageway, I presume? Through the underground passageway, I presume. Are you okay? Sorry, I really don't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right? No, not quite yet. Ah, how could you not? Why do you look at me with such icy daggers in your eyes? Because he's a prosecutor and because they're all like that. I'll have you know, Agent Lang, a prosecutor's eyes are for discerning the truth. Should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There's a sticking point in Lance's testimony. I'll see what he offers up when I push a little. Oh shit.
Hold it!
Can you tell us about when you were abducted in a little more detail? It was a strange morning. I felt like I was right in the middle of a great calm. And where were you when you experienced this calm? Our family garden, of course. Where else could it have been? Well, excuse me for asking. This child is more princess than prince. I was out taking a walk to shake off the morning blah. Then out of the blue, someone from behind clamps a hand over my mouth. You didn't see your attacker? He must have been used some drug to knock me out. Because before I knew it, I was off in La La Land again. When I woke up, I was in the kidnapper's hideout, already tied up.
Hold it!
By that room, you mean the room in the kidnapper's hideout, correct? Yes, but I was blindfolded the whole time, so I didn't know that until I made my escape. Then you were in the same room as your kidnappers? They spoke in hushed tones, but I could catch bits of their conversation. There was definitely 2 people. One of them was definitely a woman. I was so scared I could tell they were nearby, so I didn't dare make a move. Oh, look at him. Look at his eye, bro. Oh yeah, you think you're slick, buddy? But the kidnappers suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside.
Hold it!
The kidnappers disappeared? The room fell into a sudden silence. I have been left behind like an unwanted mutt. And what do you mean by unwanted mutt? What a pointless question. It's not like he's going to tell you anything you knew, you know. It's a poetic simile. You should learn how to use them, too. It may look refined on the outside, but it's no good if you're not refined on the inside as well.
Hold it!
Then those cuffs on your wrist. I suppose you are still cuffed in that case? I am well aware of how I am chained to reality. I couldn't find the key, so I'm afraid that I'm stuck like this. Even though I escaped from that jail cell, I will forever be a prisoner.
Hold it!
How'd you manage to escape? I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape. I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined.
Hold it!
By underground passageway, you mean the one that the staff uses to travel? I suppose that's what it's used for, but I didn't run into any staff members on my way out. And once I was up top, I was busy trying to find a member of police. And that is when you found us congregated at the stadium, I suppose? Let me ask you then, how'd you get a hold of the keys to the underground door? Chub face. Yeah, I don't like his face. He also has big earlobes, just like his father. Just not as big. Like, look at his father's earlobes. Holy smokes. But they're getting there. That was easy. It was hanging right there in the room on the wall. I do recall a key hanging on the wall right beside the table. Boy, does that bring back memories of our situation, how we made our escape. Indeed. And although the door on the floor of our room led to an underground room, the door on the floor of the room next to us had a secret passageway. A secret passageway under a theme park. Ooh, that just sounds like so much fun. I wonder, is there something off about the way Lance made his escape?
Objection!
You say that the door leading out was locked, but was it really? Oh, damn. We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Right, Sheena? Yes, that's correct. Then take a look at this! Hey! Hey! Look at this prop! Look at it! What is that? A sword? It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that. I love like the percussion in this shit, man. Allow me to start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used to jam the handle. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why did you not just simply remove the sword and escape? But why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it. I didn't notice it. As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That is why you used a prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own.
Not so fast!
Not so fast! Been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way. And what would that be? A motive. What else? Do you honestly think that an upright, pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme such as a kidnapping himself?
Objection!
Oh, there you go, Edgeworth. Get his ass. This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime.
Take that!
To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. Pathetic. Yeah, this was the Don Tigre beat place too. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is in fact a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy had accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance? Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man too. Must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your old man, huh? All right, I give up. I abducted myself. Lance! It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go out with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I want us to be well off with that $1 million, but now, that dream is over. Oh, Lance. Then, you are giving yourself up? Yes, I have planted to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with the plan, but then he had to go and stab us in the back. He turned on you? Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money, that's my guess. It happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. You're what? Wait, what happened? What'd I say, bro? Oh, he said lolly. Okay, bro. We left him, and inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the Blue Badger costume. That would mean the person Officer Meekins saw was Miss Pops. But right then, the old man just had to wake up. I was careless, and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. Then Oliver put on a bad Badger costume. Took the suitcase with $1 million and ran. I contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought that it could only end badly. I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father. Oh, what now, Lolly? Hi, Dylan. Then it really was you? Chain of events. That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there was a bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it. But that Badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot. The other person crumpled to the ground, and I ran scared for my life. I don't think the big picture is... I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you? Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you. So, Miss Pops, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was? If what she says is true, are you saying she's lying? Well, why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve? You would be surprised by how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? What I mean is listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see. W. Edgeworth.
Hold it!
Please calm down. Let's slowly talk through this. But all you have to do is simply tell us what happened at the stadium. Leave it to us to search out the truth. Can you do that for me? All right. So at the stadium.
Hold it!
What'd the suitcase look like? That was the ransom money, wasn't it? Yes, that's how I was able to identify Mr. Deacon almost immediately. It was all thanks to what Lance told me. And what did he tell you? Well, he called me on my cell phone and told me that Mr. Deacon had betrayed us and had run off with the ransom money. And about how he had a gun.
Hold it!
Were you able to clearly see the gun? Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointed at me. Oh, Father, why would you try to shoot me? You really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't know. I don't want to believe it myself. But it's true. My father's left arm was raised with a gun in it. Pointed straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought. Miss Pops! Please calm down and take a deep breath. And then would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time? Yes, of course. There it is. I'm just going to press the rest, though.
Hold it!
And you felt that your life was in danger, correct? Yes, I'm about to die, I thought. So, ow, my back.
Hold it!
You shot Mr. Deacon? Miss Pops. Yes, I shot him. And that, as they say, is that. Agent Lang, Miss Pops is far from done. She hasn't even finished her testimony yet. You're going to continue questioning her? What a waste of time. Miss Pops, if you please. All right.
Hold it!
Did you take off immediately following the gunshot? Yes. And you didn't attempt to approach the victim at all after he was shot? I was scared. I don't blame you. I would have done the same exact thing. Poor Miss Pops. What will become of her, Mr. Edgeworth? She seems to be telling the truth regarding what happened at the stadium. However, I don't believe it to be absolutely correct. Listen very carefully to her confession once more and you'll see.
Objection!
There we go. Jesus. I have a dozier on your father. And according to this, your father was right-handed. Ah, then the person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon.
Not so fast!
Not so fast. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. The Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand, which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun with is his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that? Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Potts was saying? Then again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it. Damn! Get his ass. Now he's stealing. Enough with the smugness. Out with it already. Miss Potts told us earlier. There was a bad badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it. According to you, the bad badger had a gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Potts? Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the bad badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face. But if that's the case, even I can see there was a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Potts claims to have seen the bad badger. And yet the bad badger had both his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong. Miss Potts, what you saw was not the bad badger. Think back and recall which character was it that leveled the gun at you. But it was wearing a pair of sunglasses and it had that strange blue beard. That sums up the bad badger pretty well, I'd say. Man, what? Well, because it's only the head, so... Both are correct. Both are correct. Boom. They are both correct. Impossible. That just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction. Miss Potts' entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. But what if that bad badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? This proves that there was a way for the bad badger to freely use both of his hands.
Take that!
The costume has two parts to them, a head and the body. Oh, I get it now. The head Miss Potts saw was probably really the head of the bad badger. However, is it not possible the body was that of an entirely different badger? A different badger? Yes, or to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger. The body of the badger Miss Potts really saw belonged to this badger.
Take that!
What? The heck is it? It's the proto-badger. Yes, and it's a simple matter of process of elimination. Miss Potts was wearing the blue badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the pink badger is one of the wrong colors, so it would have been incredibly obvious. And all that's left is the proto-badger costume. Miss Potts, who was the one that wore the proto-badger costume? That would be Lance.
Not so fast!
Not so fast! Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the bad badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon? On top of which he plotted to shoot Miss Potts while wearing that hideous thing? That stage was set up in the stadium and was nothing more than a setup. And his purpose was to lead Miss Potts into believing she had committed murder. Standing there in front of Miss Potts and pretending to be the victim. It was all done so that she would pull the trigger. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why exactly would I have to do all that, huh? There's but one reason. Lance Amano. You are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon. What? No! That's slander. Take it back. You take it back right now. Just out of curiosity, Lance, which is your dominant hand? I'm left-handed. But what does that have to do with anything? It depends. According to Miss Potts, her attacker held a gun in his left hand.
Not so fast!
Huh. Who is one-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not the proto-badger's bulletproof. One misfire and he would have found himself dead, right?
Objection!
Of course, logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence you need. This is how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by a bullet.
Take that!
We found one half of a Bad Badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing. Plus, it was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the Bad Badger carries, which can fire blanks. What? Miss Pops, where's the gun you use now? I threw it away into the sea. It's a bit tough to verify what it was. Although I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question.
Not so fast.
I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture. Hey, what's up, Tenchi? How you doing, homie? Yo. Sorry, I had to check something. I saw those little emotes flying up on the YouTube chat. I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I am right is very high. Okay, let's pretend that you're right and that the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor? I don't know yet. Huh, I knew you were full of it. However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame. Please wait a second. It's simply not possible. They're playing DBD. Because I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance. She saw the victim in the state of being restrained? What Miss Pops saw? I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the room next door. After that, the two of us put on our costumes and made our escape. So Mr. Deacon must have escaped after the two of you left, right? We thought it'd attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. We planned to meet up again at the stage of the stadium. But then, as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone. Oliver managed to escape. It looked like he was waiting until I was alone. He also stole the gun from me at the time. And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Miss Pops saw the victim with her own eyes. Which means that the victim was still alive at the time, wouldn't you agree? Why does that sound wrong to me? Because it is wrong. But yeah, I hope you're doing well, though, Tenchi. Welcome to the stream, homie. Ow. Shit. What'd I miss? So, we found out that there was 3 kidnappers. Lance, the guy who was kidnapped at first, was the mastermind behind all this. And now it was Lance, Pops, the girl, and then Deacon as all the kidnappers. They were pretty much getting a ploy to get $1 million from Lance's dad. Because Lance has a debt to pay to a certain loan company. Does this loan company seem familiar to you, Jiro? I know you just finished the trilogy again. Does this look familiar to you? Does that name look familiar to you? Alright. Wait. Why does that sound wrong to me? There must be something amiss about this account. Let's see what happens when I examine it more in detail. Maybe some Mr. Don Tigre?
Hold it!
And that weird chick? When exactly did you arrive back at the hideout? It was after we had picked up the ransom money. And where were you up until the time you returned? I was scouting the park out and making preparations for our escape. I walked around the various areas looking for the best route. Ah, so each of them have their own rules to play. After I was done, I went back to the hideout. What sounds wrong? Wait, what? What are you talking about? Why does that sound wrong to me? Oh. You're talking about, I don't know. Something does. I mean, it always does.
Hold it!
That's why we're cross-examining. How did Lance look at that time? He looked shocked. He also looked a little down. When I saw that sadness in his eyes, Thank you. That's enough for now. What of Mr. Deacon? What was his situation like?
Hold it!
You are sure that was Mr. Deacon that you saw? Yes, I am certain of what I saw. Did you go in the other room to check? Lance said that it was best if I didn't go too close to him. Okay, so that was us. Lance, he's such a kind soul. And you are telling me that you did not confirm that it was Mr. Deacon for yourself? I checked through the slit in the door that separates the two rooms. He had a bad badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure. Wow. That just had to be Mr. Deacon. She saw a bad badger head?
Hold it!
So the tied up Mr. Deacon was still in his bad badger costume? Yes, and? It would appear that she misread the whole situation. What now? Should I raise an objection? The person you saw was not the victim. It was I. What? Why not? I'll tell you why now with this. The person you saw was not the victim. It was I. Miles Edgeworth. Am I overthinking this?
Take that!
Okay. Miss Pops, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all. Huh? The person you actually saw was this person. Okay. Miss Pops, the person you saw tied up to the beam was in fact Kay. Hey, hold on. I was never tied up like that. Right, I suppose not. The one that tied up to the beam screaming was... That will do, Kay. Anyway, the person you saw was most definitely not Mr. Deacon. The person you actually saw was this person. It was me. Huh? The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth? I always thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnappers abduct me even after I had handed over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken the million and ran. But in the end, there was a point to all of it. It was to make me look like a Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we could assume that the victim was already dead at the time. Well, Lance, am I right? You show Miss Pops a person, namely, with a bad badger's head on. And then made your costumed escape together, or so you pretended. Huh? What do you mean he pretended? Exactly that. I believe Lance watched you escape, and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the bad badger head from my unconscious self. And to create a fake prison with the prop sword, and he then escaped via the passageway.
Not so fast!
Hold your tongue, boy. It looks like he's cuddling up to him. Don't get caught up in that tidal wave of words coming out of Mr. Prosecutor's mouth. Tidal wave? We've heard a lot come out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and his subsequent detainment. All of that could have happened while you were out cold. That's right. You were out for quite a while, Mr. Prosecutor. Even if that were the case, Miss Pops would have still seen me tied to that beam. I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room. So I really have no idea if you were in there or not, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, it would seem that you can't prove a thing. Who's holding it? Who said that? Ernest? Fat bastard. Please wait. Mr. Amano? Miles, my boy. Looks like you're really giving it your all. And Lance, it's not good to cause trouble for others. Dad. Let's see. You're the one in charge of the investigation, correct? Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. This probably won't make up for anything, but I have some evidence for you. Oh? Do you now? Nice. Is that what I think it is? It's a bad badger costume the victim was wearing. I couldn't wait around for the police, so I went and found these myself. It appears they were disposed of in the sea. Is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law? W. Ernest. There now. Agent Lang, please calm down. What the heck is that scrap of paper? This appears to be a letter from the chief of police. Please allow Mr. Romano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says. What? Yo. The chief of police? What the? Just who does he think he is? The person who wields the highest authority in this area in this area. There now. Why is he talking so slow? There's no need to be so upset. Heh, I'm not a cop from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country. Now. This wasn't meant to strong-arm you into anything. It's just a request. I'm only asking that you please respect the laws of the land. Can't really say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand. It does matter who found the evidence. Its value remains unchanged. Alright, now let's take a look at this new evidence. I've already got the results back. I had a special forensics research lab that I'm on good terms with conduct the tests. They verified that the blood in this costume belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints they could find were yours, Lauren. What? You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son such stress and heartache. Thank goodness I was able to find the final piece of evidence. With this, you have no reason to push my poor boy around. That's it? These are the case-making pieces of evidence? Huh, I'll be the judge of that. I won't rest till I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. What's this? Looks like there's something inside the costume head. Hey, they sparkle. I bet they're really valuable. Sorry, but they're just pieces of a mirror. Why are they in here? The bullet hole. Looks like kind of burnt around the edges. Wait, those burn marks were left by the gunpowder. This is the most important fact. Why is that? Because it's proof that the victim was shot at point-blank range. One at the time of shooting, gunpowder burn is proof that he was shot from point-blank. Could this gun be the actual murder weapon? Used to kill Deacon, was originally stolen from the guard by victim during escape. Well, are these not the most definitive pieces of evidence you've ever seen? Thank you, Dad. This should be enough to convince me, even Mr. Edgeworth over there. Lies. Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun. And they prove that it was Lolly who killed Oliver. But Oliver was also after Lolly's life. So, Mr. Edgeworth, even you must see that Lolly was only acting in self-defense. The fingerprints on the weapon, huh? Oh no, this isn't helpful at all. Look, Mr. Edgeworth, all I want to do is save Lolly. But in the end, all I can do is watch on as she takes the punishment for her crimes. That may be all you can do, however, I still have a case to solve and a job to do. The job on unraveling your insidious lie. You wound me. Why won't you believe me, even in the face of all this evidence?
Hold it!
Those fingerprints. Are you sure they belong to Miss Pops? There's no mistake about it. Though my connections, I had the best forensics techniques money can buy performed. I find that a bit peculiar. What? Are you trying to pick and argue with me? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? Frankly, I don't believe that Miss Pops' prints should be on that gun to begin with. The reason why Miss Pops' print should not be on the gun is...
Take that!
It's simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any prints on the murder weapon. Because while she was at the stadium, Miss Pops was wearing a costume. Huh? But there's no mistake. We found fingerprints. Well, Miss Pops, do you remember touching the gun at all at any time? Ah, yes. As a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the hideout. I handed it off to Mr. Deacon when he and Lance left for the haunted house. To retrieve the ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. That is when Miss Pops' prints found their way onto the gun. Do you understand now, Mr. Romano? The fingerprints do nothing to prove that Miss Pops is the murderer. But you still don't have anything to prove that she isn't the killer, right? You seem very adamant about insisting that your girlfriend is a cold-blooded killer. Oh, Lance. What? No way, I'm incredibly worried about her. Well, that doesn't change the fact that you don't have any evidence, right? That's where you're wrong. I have the evidence. What? How? The story that Miss Pops killed the victim at the stage in the stadium. The whole affair is simply not true because that was not the real crime scene, but a setup. This proves that the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all. Again! Present it again! Let's take another good look at the costume the victim was wearing. Then I believe you will see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium. This is the part of the costume that proves it. Eureka!
Take that!
The burn around this bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point-blank range. Ah, so then you mean the murder Miss Oldbag saw at the stadium really was... Yes, she saw two people, but they were separated by a distance. If the victim was indeed shot from below the stage, there shouldn't be a gunpowder burn. Huh, look at you, Mr. Smarty Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know all about the answers, why not tell us where the real crime scene is then? Oh, here we go. The music! Lance set me up to look like Mr. Deacon back at the hideout. If that's the case, then the murder must have happened prior to that. And the location where Lance and the victim were just before I was imprisoned was... Did nobody check the haunted house, bro? I've got it. I know the real scene of the murder. The real location in which Mr. Deacon was killed is here. Why did we not check the haunted house?
Take that!
I think it's not unreasonable to assume the murder took place in the haunted house. The haunted house? Yes, I have proof that it is highly likely that the victim was killed there. Oh wow, I completely forgot about the bloodstains over there. What proves that the real scene of the crime was the haunted house? These were inside the costume the victim was wearing. They're fragments of a mirror. A mirror? What does that have to do with anything? Indeed, you don't exactly expect to find pieces of a mirror inside a costume. Yeah, that's actually pretty dangerous. However, there is one place I can think of where a plethora of mirror fragments. And that is the haunted house. Lance Amano, I propose that you kill Mr. Deacon with a revolver in the haunted house. After that, you stole the Blue Badgermobile to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. The time of when the Blue Badgermobile was stolen confirms this as a fact. Miles, my boy, say no more. I'm sorry, Mr. Amano, but I cannot do that. Be quiet. Yes, please do something. Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense. Ernest Amano, correct? I meant you. Now be quiet, Gramps. Shee! Okay, Lang. How dare you? I don't need words. The only thing I require is evidence. Decisive evidence. And to call these mirrors bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor. What? Sheena, wasn't there a mirror in the kidnapper's hideout? Yes, there was a mirror there. A mirror that's for the haunted house. You see? Isn't it possible the fragments got into the costume there? But Agent Lang, there was no fragments on the floor, so the probability is very low. Probability? Oh boy. Lang Shi says, on truth paths, the word probability does not exist. The only thing that does exist is definitive proof. The question is, Mr. Prosecutor, do you have the definitive proof you need? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you? Do I have solid evidence that proves the murder took place at the haunted house? I don't know, do we? I don't know. Why don't we just go check, bro? Has anybody checked the haunted house? I don't fucking think so. The answer is no. See? So since you don't have any... Shut up. I don't have the evidence yet, but... I'm certain the murder occurred around the time I turned the ransom over. At that time, the only people at the haunted house, besides myself, were Lance and Mr. Deacon. If I could prove that the murder took place at the haunted house, then I could prove Lance's guilt in connection to the murder. What now, Mr. Edgeworth? Agent Lang, I have a special request. Yeah? I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime was indeed the haunted house. Why in the world are you asking the werewolf for permission? Because I don't really have a choice if I want to find the truth. Alright, permission granted, but you're not to touch a single thing, got it? That won't be a problem. All that's important to me is the truth to be brought to light. Doesn't matter by who or how it's done, as long as it is. Yo. Sheena! I'm here. Put in the paperwork for the authorization immediately. Understood. Now go get the Gateway Group's approval. Who was that? Now, yo, bro, I'm so sick of this guy. Now, let's hold on for a second. There is no need to obtain approval. Mr. Amano? Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this. What is this? Sheena! It's the deed to the haunted house. Did he just buy the haunted house? Yo! What the? Read it out loud. Bro just bought the haunted house in like 5 seconds. Gateway Land Incorporated hereby bequeaths the property known as the haunted house to Mr. Amano for the lump sum of $1 million paid in full in cash. Yo! What? As you can see, I am now the legal owner of the haunted house. Yo. We can't be serious. Bro, your son tried to scam you for $1 million, so you go and buy the haunted house for $1 million? Holy smokes. Yo, give me that fucking money, bro. Are you kidding? When did you... I ran into the owner of the park earlier, and we made the deal almost immediately. How quickly things move when you can prepare $1 million in the blink of an eye. That $1 million you paid. Don't tell me it was... Oh, that's right. This disgusting suitcase belongs to you, doesn't it? I don't have any more use for it, so you may have it back now. You used the ransom money? My Lance is a good boy. Oh, so you were in on it too. He even apologized for the kidnapping a bit earlier. So I do believe that I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. That's the way things are, so if you would please, discuss things with me from now on. Discuss? What is there to discuss? Why, permission to enter the haunted house, of course. Well, you literally just, okay. So, what you're telling me is you literally just proved your son guilty for doing that. While we were busy listening to Lance's story, Mr. Amano was out there preempting us. Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lang, I want you to arrest that girl. And Miles, you should hurry on home now, my boy, before I really lose my temper. Mr. Amano definitely has the deck stacked in his favor here. What should I do? If I leave it like this, the truth will be lost forever. Ladder. Final confrontation. Ladder. Alright, hold on. I gotta use the bathroom real quick. Grab some more water. If I can't get permission to investigate the crime scene, then the truth will be lost. Hold it, hold it, hold it! Okay? Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing spacing out? Have you forgotten? There's only one thing you should do at a time like this. And what is that? When the people are in a bind, the hero Justice appears to save the day. But... oh, well. Never mind. Look, you just leave it to me. For I am Kate Faraday, the second of the great Yatagarasu. But I thought you were a thief, not a hero. The Yatagarasu is a noble and is always a thief of justice. That's... of course. If we have enough information, I can recreate the inside of the haunted house with this. Plus, if we factor in everyone's testimony, we can recreate exactly what happened when I dropped off the ransom money. We may be able to figure out some new information through this. It's worth a try. Agent Lang. Ah, so you want to use your little toy. Be my guest. Okay, hang on. You're about to witness the true power of a real modern-day Robin Hood. Detective Gumshoe. Is there a copy of the haunted house's blueprints among the police's reference documents? Yes, sir. We got it just in case we needed it for the kidnapping case. All right, I'll put the haunted house data then. What is this? Where are we? It's like we're inside the haunted house. Even if we can't inspect the real location itself, the path to the truth slumbers here. If I can successfully navigate my way using logic, I'll ultimately arrive at the truth. Now then, I believe I'm ready to investigate the crime scene. Okay, what should I recreate first? You haven't figured it out yet? Maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but I'm going to make you do all the hard work. Very well. I like to inspect the moment in which I was ambushed by my ambusher. The two of them were definitely in this place at the time. If I can verify that, it may provide me with a new lead. I had just come out into the hallway after leaving the money inside the dining room. At that time, I saw a badger slumped over on the floor at the end of the hallway. Eh? What was a blue badger doing all the way down there? I also thought it's strange. You missed this too. This was so funny. The picture that comes. However, I thought that maybe it was simply a mannequin that was set there for atmosphere. Do you know which badger it was? No, it was too dark to tell. All I saw was its silhouette. In that case, I guess I'll just program a badger silhouette in for now. Okay, programming complete. Then I started walking towards the exit. And that's when you were struck from behind, right? Yes. But that's odd. The hallway is a dead end. Where did your assailant come from? There's only one location I can think of. I believe my assailant was lying in wait here.
Take that!
That doll I saw wasn't really a doll. It was in fact a costume kidnapper. Oh, so he used the costume as a perfect camouflage to blend in with the rest of the house. Precisely. He waited up until I had made the drop off and was about to leave. Then, just as he saw me take a step towards the exit, he stood and launched his attack. I can think of no better hiding place than this. Hey, not bad. I'm beginning to think I should steal this tactic for myself. Just don't use it to do anything criminal, okay? Oh my god! Well, Lance? What are you asking me for? As one of the kidnappers, I figured I should give you the chance to confess first. I was one of the kidnappers, but I don't know anything. I did come up to the haunted house, but I never set foot inside. We left Oliver in charge of picking up the ransom money. He didn't set foot inside. Is he telling the truth, or is this another lie? Alright, then you're claiming that it was Mr. Deacon who assaulted me. Yes, I'm sure it was him. Okay, inputting the new info now. Mr. Deacon was a bad badger, right? If the bad badger has a gun attached to his right hand, I have to change it so the weapon is in his left hand. Now to verify the facts of this recreation. Whee! When you take a look around, it almost feels like more like a house of mirrors. Indeed, who has ever heard of this many mirrors inside of a haunted house before? Well, at least we know this is a real crime scene. Thanks to these mirror shards. Hey, wait! Those shards, there's something different about them. Oh? The ones we found earlier are thicker than the shards from these mirrors on this wall. And look, there's some sort of design on the back, too. The pieces from that costume are certainly different from the other mirrors. What does this mean? Could it be that our pieces are not pieces of these mirrors? Different from the mirrors on the wall, very thick and has a design on the back. Poor Gorilla. I have to do all the detective job. You have been doing all the detective job. Gorilla's been slacking. You didn't recreate the weapon. Well, I can't exactly recreate something I know nothing about. So tell me, what were you hit with? The attack came from behind, so I have no idea. But I doubt it was someone's bare hands. Okay. Where were you hit? I was hit on the right side of my head, just above my temple. There was a bit of blood, but it wasn't anything serious. Ouch, sounds painful. Why are you smirking like that when you say it? It's just your imagination. Now let's see. I wonder if there's anything in the hallway that could have been used as a weapon. I'm looking for something that the culprit could have used to hit you with.
Take that!
I have it. There was indeed one such object lying here in this hallway. A prop sword. Are you talking about this thing here? Yes. Although, we did find it at the kidnapper's hideout. Wait, yes. It's possible that the culprit took it with him after using it on me. To leave no evidence behind, right? Correct. Maybe worth a more thorough examination yet. Okay, so what test do you want to run on this sword? Luminol. Look for Edgeworth's blood, stat. The corporal was wearing a costume at the time, so fingerprint analysis is useless. Let's run a luminol test. It's possible that some of my blood found its way onto this. Agent Lang, may I ask for your cooperation in this matter? Like I have a choice. Sheena, call the lab boys. Understood. Except for a little dab on the left side, it would appear that the blade is spotless. So it must have been the left side of the prop sword that hit you then, right? Okay, I'll update the recreation with this new piece of info. I won't rest, so I'll expect every single granny. You know, the Bad Badger is pretty bad looking when you see him up close. Well, what'd you expect from a character named the Bad Badger? And those sunglasses, wearing them in the dark makes him seem extra bad. Now I'm lost. Which meaning of bad does she really mean? It's me. I have to say, it's rather embarrassing to see myself like this. Oh, so what were you thinking about at the time? I don't recall, but I would guess I was thinking about the kidnapping. Really? Because I don't think so at all. Your face practically screams, I'm about to be conked over the head. If I had known that at the time, do you think I would have let myself be hit? In the next instant, this badger will swing his left arm complete with weapon in hand. Yes, to club me with the left side of the prop sword. Shall I recreate the moment of the impact? I want to see the pain expressed on your face. It's just fine the way it is. Wait, maybe not. Is it just my imagination or is something not quite right?
Eureka!
Eureka! Finally, I found a clear contradiction of the facts about this sword. Except for a bit on the left side, the prop sword is absolutely spotless. However, if the culprit had used his left hand, the blood would have been on the opposite side. The opposite side, huh? If the culprit held the sword in his left hand, then the sword's its right side would hit. I see, but the blood on the left side was the sword, right? Apparently it can when you feed them too many sweets. When you feed something too many sweets, it gets abducted by aliens. Alright, gorilla, start eating, bruh. Exactly. This prop sword has a large handguard attached to the hilt. It would be impossible to hold it with two hands while wearing a costume with such big hands. Therefore, it could have been the left hand or both hands. It couldn't have been the left hand or both hands. It must have been the right. I'll change the data to reflect the right hand swing. Not yet, Kay. There's no sense in changing anything yet. If you change the parameters to the right hand, it'll only create a new contradiction. Changing the prop sword to be in the culprit's right hand would conflict with what?
Take that!
The Bad Badger already holds a gun in his right hand, so he can't hold a sword in addition. Hey, that's right. Then what now? If it wasn't in his left or right hand, it means that the one who struck me could not have been the Bad Badger. Are you paying attention, Lance? Mr. Deacon could not have been the one who struck me, which leaves only you as our primary suspect. Fine, it was me. I hit you. It appears that you lied to me yet again, but see how quickly they catch up to you, Lance? Wait, isn't Lance left-handed? Ah, yes. Well, that's what makes this deception all the more interesting. He used the right hand to make it look like Mr. Deacon had been the one to strike me. For you see, firing a gun with one's non-dominant hand is difficult. But that level of dexterity isn't required to swing a prop sword. Okay, please input this new data. The one who hit me from behind was Lance. Or should I say the Proto-Badger? Here we go. Show us the picture again. You got it. Here I go. Oh my god, it's him. Now we have a faithful recreation of the situation around the attack on me. Alright, well, all we have to do is examine this new recreation and...
Not so fast!
I love his theme. And what exactly is so funny, Agent Lan? That amusing little gadget sure packs a punch, right, Sheena? Yes, it was all I could do to hold my laughter. Okay. Hey, don't make fun of little thief, you mean old werewolf. He and Mr. Edgeworth bring out the best in each other. You've had your little fun, but now it's my turn. I've sat quietly by listening. But the crude conclusions you two keep spewing don't whet this wolf's appetite. There's no guarantee that your toy will always show the real situation at any given time. All it displays is whatever information you put in there, right? Well, when you put it that way. Your suppositions are wrong. It's not your fault, so I'm going to let you in on this. There's a trick to this haunted house. And what may that be exactly? A trick beyond what your tiny imagination can produce. Sheena! Here you are. Now then, what you missed, girlie, is written right here in this pamphlet. The 7 Wonders of the Haunted House, the Disappearing Badger. What is this? I'd say that someone around here is fond of the theatrics. Gatewater Land is full of mysteries, the 7 Wonders of the Haunted House, the Disappearing Badger. Seeing is believing. And as you can see, they set a doll down at the end of the hallway for that purpose. Basically, the blue badger you saw was just a stupid doll. How can this be? Guess that throws your whole theory about it being your attacker right out the window. But that can't be right. Maybe the culprit hit the doll somewhere. And then he laid down and pretended to be it instead. If the criminal couldn't even hide himself in the hallway, how could he hide a giant doll? You get it now? Thanks to your presumptions, your logic started off weak and led you to a completely wrong conclusion. Now get off your high horse. Mr. Edgeworth. Okay, I wonder if you could please input the new information for me? You don't know when to quit, do you? I can't quit, not until I declare that I've found the truth. Agent Lang, for the additional information, you have my thanks. Here you go again. Well, see if I care. Okay, I'm updating the recreation now. That looks really weird. Look at how it changes from the blue badger into the proto badger all of a sudden. If the slumped over badger was just a doll, where was my attacker hiding? Well, that's what we're going to find out, right? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, let's go. Yes, let's. This recreation can't be right, which means there must be a contradiction somewhere. I'm still at 1 HP, bro.
Eureka!
Hold on a second here. There's something wrong with this blue badger. Huh? Like what? The way the belt is on him is opposite of how it should be. Did you make a mistake? That can't be. I inputted the image data exactly as it is in the pamphlet. Not the wall. So then, why is the blue badger dressed up in reverse? Huh? What? He dressed up in reverse. Am I missing something? Blue badger in the pamphlet is wearing his belt in the reverse direction. Oh shit, he is. The blue badger in the pamphlet photo is in reverse to the regular blue badger. But why? There must be some sort of explanation. Kay, do you remember what you said earlier? What I said earlier about what? About how this building might as well have been a house of mirrors? A house of mirrors? Oh, then that would explain the reversed or mirrored image. Yes, this blue badger might be nothing more than a reflected image of a real one. Then was the blue badger you saw just a reflection? When I looked down the hall, I thought it was perfectly straight. However, if there was a mirror... Man. Oh, then it would actually form an L shape, right? Precisely. I was deceived. The hallway was almost pitch black. And there was a beam in the way that obstructed my view in the other hallway. Wait, but why build this place like that? It sounds pretty pointless to me. Okay, this house is just another attraction in an amusement park. They create a mirror wall for a specifically purposed one that I can point out to you. This was the reason they built a mirror wall. Eureka!
Take that!
You stupid! Nuh-uh! As written in the pamphlet, the main draw of this attraction is the mystery of the disappearing badger. You mean they built the mirror for that trick alone? Well, you said you saw the badger, so it was definitely still there. That was true at the time, however. During doing this allows someone to make the blue badger disappear in a flash. To remove a reflected image, simply move the mirror. First, the mirror was constructed so that it could be moved. Then, beyond that mirror was an empty hallway to be created. So when they wanted people to see the blue badger, they would open the mirror. When they wanted to hide it, they would simply have it closed again. Yeah, I get it, Jiro. You're a weirdo. This explains why the other side of these fragments have a design on them. Ah, if that pattern is the same as the other walls of this hallway, then when the mirror is closed, it would blend in with the rest of the walls. This is the mirror trick that this haunted house employs. And this also proves the existence of a hiding place for the culprit. Huh? How so? Think about it, Kay. There was a place that was outside of my field of vision. Kept that out of my sight by hiding here.
Take that!
There was a very large blind spot, one I could not see beyond it, and it was here. If my assailant hid on the other side of the movable mirror, then you wouldn't be able to see him. He didn't even need to do anything to the Blue Badger doll. Exactly. All he had to do was wait for me on the other side of the mirror. Wait, hold on. I just thought of something. Yes? Well, shouldn't the mirror wall be broken right now in reality? Since we have a few shards of it, we can probably assume it is. Yes, it most definitely is broken. The question is, when was it broken? Since we found these inside the victim's costume, that would mean the victim was there when the mirror was broken. Wait, that sound. That sound I heard was most definitely the sound of the mirror breaking. Okay, I'd like you to input some new information. Ah, don't scare me like that. Sorry. But I need you to recreate something for me. Sure, whatever you need. So, what do you need anyway? If you could first recreate this hallway just before I enter the dining room. You got it. Now this, I believe this is how it was right before I entered the dining room. Although at the time, I thought it was but a single straight hallway. And then I went inside. It was around that I heard the sound of a mirror shattering. You heard what? Then? Yes, I believe it was then that the mirror was broken. Okay, so when you stepped outside into the hallway again, the mirror wall should no longer exist. Okay, please recreate that. Got it. But with the mirror gone, the culprit lost his hiding spot. So where did he go in his proto badge suit, Mr. Edgeworth? Huh! That's easy enough. With the mirror gone, he simply hid himself in the branch hallway. I think this about wraps it up. Looks like we finally solved everything. No, not yet. An even larger contradiction has now reared its head. Huh? Perhaps you did not notice. But this recreation contains a very troubling inconsistency. The inconsistency between what I saw and the recreation lies.
Take that!
Okay, take a good look at the end of the hall. Oh, there's no Blue Badger there. Exactly, the Blue Badger that I saw in reality is not here. This is the final point on this long chain of logic, the last remaining contradiction. So let me get this straight. When you came out of the dining room, you saw a badger, right? And that is precisely where the final contradiction lies. Something that shouldn't exist was there before me. Who, or what do you suppose it was? I believe this is the real identity of our mystery badger.
Take that!
The badger I saw was in actuality the dead victim's body. What? Hiya! Agent Lang, the entirety of my complete logic is my final decisive piece of evidence. The murder happened in the hallway of the haunted house at the time of the drop-off. And you can consider the moment I heard the mirror breaking should be the real time of death for Mr. Deacon. No. Maybe it was due to the fighting, or perhaps it was the life-shattering bullet. But no matter what the cause was, the hallway mirror wall was broken. Ha! You were in that house at the time, right? Are you telling me that you missed the sound of a gunshot?
Objection!
There were a variety of sound effects playing at the time. All for theatrics, I assume. The gunshot must have blended right in. Aya! Yo. Now then, I'd like to recall something for me. Who was it that was with the victim at the haunted house? Who was the one who had the opportunity to rob the victim of his gun and use it on him? It was you, Lance Amano. Oh shit, he broke him. Oh, he's a brat, bro. I'm so... He's gonna say I'm sorry? I'm sorry. Oh, you don't get sorry now, bro. You killed a man. It's not like I had a choice. Oliver turned on me all of a sudden. He snapped and turned violent right after I hung up with you. He shoved me to the ground and straddled me. Wait, what? I fought back as hard as I could and grabbed his gun and I shot him. The bullet must have went through his body and shattered the mirror. If I hadn't taken his gun and shot him first, I would have been the one you found. He's a hardened criminal. He escaped from jail. See, that justifies self-defense. My boy is only trying to protect himself. That remains to be seen, and you will have to be resolved in court. Agent Lang, I leave the rest to you. As if you were the one in charge around here. Guys, arrest these two and get them out of my sight. Well, wait, I had nothing to do with the murder. The only person you should be arresting is Lance. Oh, now throw your son under the bus. The dad? Blech. Sorry, but you're not slipping away that easily, Mr. Ernest Amano. You tampered with the evidence so that you could cover for your son. What a great dad you are, willing to risk it all. Truly touching. By the way, do you know why I'm really here? And how could I possibly know the answer to such an asinine question? You wound me. I came all this way from across the sea just to see you, you know. Came to see me? What's that supposed to mean? I have a few things to ask you, Mr. Amano, about a case from 10 years ago. A case from 10 years ago? Oh, what's the name they use here for that case? Sheena. KA8. KG8. That's the one we saw in the first case. The KG8 incident. Oh, so you remember it. Good. Then you recall that trigger in that case was the Amano Group scandal. Specifically, the charge of an internal smuggling ring. Smuggling. There's that word again. At the time, the person that was arrested as the ringleader was Mr. Amano's very own secretary, Mr. Colin Devore. Ah, father. Even though you pushed the crime onto your then secretary, Mr. Devore, I always suspected that you were involved with the smuggling ring, Mr. Amano. Mr. Devore was arrested in place of you, which is why, when he broke out, you hid from the police, right? You hid him in exchange for his silence on your little dirty secret. Now. Please calm down. I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. Pretend to be ignorant all you want. We're taking you down to the precinct anyway for a nice long chat. Who's holding it now? What the? Who the heck was that? Oh, this bum. I'll take him down to the precinct if you don't mind. Who the heck are you? I'm Jackus Portman. Jax Portman. And I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case. Oh, Jax. Thank goodness you're here. Don't jerk me around. This is an Interpol case, so keep your paws off my suspect. Sorry, but I can't comply. I've got the backing of the prosecutor's office. See, in this country, we prosecutors work with the police to bring cases to court. So if you could please cooperate with me here, that'd be great. Now then. Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal? Sorry, but I hate prosecutors, the whole lot of you. Guys, arrest the two suspects. Sir. That's why he was in Edgeworth's room. Oh, I almost forgot. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, is it? I'd like to thank you. Thank me? Yeah, we're working so hard to fulfill my goal. Hey, is that any way to thank someone? What the heck is that supposed to mean? You were so relentless with Lance that you forced Ernest to tamper with evidence. Thanks to that, I finally had a legitimate reason to arrest him. So I have to feel a bite the hand that feeds you. The hand that feeds me? I'm not sure I follow. It's no use pretending with me. You're the one, right? You're the corrupt prosecutor that's working for Mr. Amano in the smuggling ring, right? No. I would never do such a thing. What the heck? Our intel's never wrong. Wait, what? Yo, who's suspecting Miles? Bro's been out of the country. In your prosecutor's office, there's definitely someone working with the ring. Ah, so Agent Lang suspected my relations with Mr. Amano. That must be the real reason behind his antagonistic attitude. On top of that, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? There were non-stop rumors flying around about forged evidence with that guy. You're not twisting the truth behind those closed courtroom doors too, are you? The courtroom is a place where the truth is revealed. Well, don't worry, it's not only you. The whole lot of you can't be trusted. A prosecutor who never lost in 40 years? Every defendant must be found guilty? Fueled by that kind of thinking, is it any wonder that the courts produce nothing but falsifies and lies? Falsities and lies? And that all changed in 5. It would seem that his disdain extends beyond just me. Prosecutors, the courts, why is this man so angry with us all? Rest assured, the next time we meet, I won't be so forgiving. Oh, not you.